Alright, who wants a sip of that? Water containing radioactive byproducts have almost filled up the storage tanks at the Fukushima No. 1 nuclear power plant in Japan. According to Japan's Yomiuri Shimbun, the Fukushima nuclear plant reactor that suffered meltdowns during the 2011 earthquake and a tsunami may end up contaminating groundwater. The reactor produces about 160 tons of radioactive water per day. The filters that remove radioactive elements from water are not able to remove an element called tritium, thus resulting in the amount of water containing only tritium to steadily increase. The storage tanks at Fukushima have a capacity of about 1.13 million tons, with about 1.07 million tons of that capacity already filled. Of the space used, 80% of that is occupied by treated water containing tritium. The area the tanks occupy totals about 230,000 square meters, which is the equivalent of about 32 soccer fields, and there is almost no more expansion space left to allow for more storage. Officials reportedly have been trying to increase storage capacity by building bigger tanks when it's time to replace the current ones. However, a senior official of Japan's Economy, Trade and Industry Ministry said this storage method is already close to capacity. Tokyo Electric Power Company is planning to secure 1.37 million tons of storage capacity by the end of 2020, but has yet to decide on what to do after 2021. Regarding the treated water, TEPCO's chief decommissioning officer, Akira Ono, said that it is impossible to keep storing it forever. The Japan News reports that tritium is produced during regular nuclear plant operations, but also exists in nature. An average of 380 trillion becquerels of treated water containing tritium was released annually into the ocean in the 5 years before the nuclear plant disaster. Yomiuri Shimbun reports that the treated water containing tritium at Fukushima measures more than 1 million becquerels per liter. This is more than 10 times the national standard allowed for release into the ocean, which is 60,000 becquerels per liter. However, if the water is diluted, it can be released into the sea. The Japan News reports that a 2016 report by the Industry Ministry's working group said that there are 5 ways to deal with treated water: releasing it into the sea, evaporation, releasing it after electrolysis, underground burial, or injection into geological layers. Out of the 5 options, releasing it into the sea was deemed as the cheapest and the quickest way to dispose of the water. An expert committee organized by the ministry says it plans to hold a public hearing in Fukushima Prefecture and other places to allow local residents to voice their opinions on what to do with the radioactive water. Remember this?
Another radioactive water leak reported at Fukushima plant. Officials report the cleanup at the Fukushima Daiichi plant in Japan suffered a setback April 10th to 13th. Over 200 tons of radioactive water flooded a basement in yet another mishap at the Fukushima Daiichi atomic power plant. Since the plant was crippled after Japan's powerful 2011 earthquake and tsunami, water has been continuously poured onto the reactors to cool them. The water used for cooling the core falls into a basement area and is then pumped out into special storage containers. Between April 10th to 13th, officials with the Tokyo Electric Power Plant say for unknown reasons the pump flow was reversed, and the water was pumped back into the basements. Groundwater around the plant has been pumped out of the earth and treated for radioactivity for years, and there are fears some of the recently leaked water may have entered the groundwater. Hundreds of tons of radioactive water have, however, leaked into the ocean since 2011, and radiation concentrations in regional groundwater and seawater are still currently above acceptable levels.
Fukushima Hot Zone residents allowed to return home. For the first time since the March 2011 nuclear disaster, some residents within the radiation hot zone surrounding the Fukushima plant are allowed to return home. A 20-kilometer hot zone around the Fukushima nuclear plant has been off-limits for most residents since the government ordered more than 160,000 people to evacuate. Hundreds of workers are still scattered around towns in Fukushima, cutting and raking away leaves and branches, and hosing down houses to drop radiation levels. The Miyakoji area in Tamura reopened to its residents on Tuesday. Radiation levels in the area ranged from between 0.11 to 0.44 microsieverts per hour in February, a figure higher than Tokyo's average, 0.034 microsieverts per hour. Radiation in Denver is higher at 0.2 microsieverts per hour, while a commercial flight between Tokyo and New York measures at about 10 microsieverts per hour. Many residents of the Miyakoji area reported being torn about returning. A third of the Fukushima evacuees currently live in temporary housing set up throughout the prefecture.
Japanese fisherman lands monster fish. Japanese fisherman Hiroki Hirasaka captured a gigantic fish in the waters off northern Japan near eastern Russia. Hirasaka set off last month on a fishing tour around Shiratoko Peninsula of Japan's northern island of Hokkaido, where wolffish live near the seafloor, 50 to 100 meters below water surface. The species normally grows up to 1.2 meters in length, but the beast Hirasaka reeled in was nearly 2 meters long. The photo of the massive fish went viral globally after Hirasaka posted it to Twitter. It was worth flying to Shiratoko twice in 3 months, and this guy is absolutely awesome, said Hirasaka. Some people threw out the idea that the size of the freakishly large catch might be the result of radiation from the 2011 Fukushima nuclear disaster. So what's happened after that picture? Hirasaka said he grilled the fish and ate it.
Japan brings back nuclear power 4 years after Fukushima. Kyushu Electric Power has restarted one of the 2 reactors at its Sendai nuclear power plant in Kagoshima. In September 2013, Kansai Electric Power's Oe plant in Fukui Prefecture went offline for a routine safety check. The reopening of the Sendai reactor will mark the first time Japan has generated nuclear power after the start of its post-Fukushima zero nuclear period. During Japan's nuclear power hiatus, Japan has relied on thermal energy. However, the country now struggles with meeting the soaring costs of purchasing oil, gas, and other fuels. Kyushu Electric Power announced that the reason they are reopening the reactor is the country's lack of electricity. On August 11th, the reactor successfully sustained a nuclear chain reaction and will soon begin to generate electricity. In hopes of strengthening the nuclear plant's safety measures, 11 electric companies will invest 3 trillion yen towards the facility's safety systems. Residents living near nuclear power plants are still anxious about their safety, though, and the possibility of insufficient emergency measures in the event of a nuclear accident.
Japan's Sendai nuclear power plant gets fuel as it gears up to go back online. A nuclear power plant in Sendai operated by Kyushu Electric Power Company is set to go back online in mid-August. 157 fuel assemblies are being loaded into the number 1 reactor. After the Fukushima nuclear disaster in March of 2011, the reactor has been inactive since May of the same year for safety checks. The safety conditions of some of the plant equipment may not be up to standards due to the facility being offline for 4 years. Local residents have expressed strong opposition to restarting the plant. Officials estimate the facility will be operational again starting in mid-August. However, due to a history of volcanic activity in the area, there are still some doubts regarding the safety of the plant.